that system you put together to now when you got to make some tough calls?
Well, I would say it in two different ways. I think the key to any team's success year in and year out is the depth that they have on their football team. And that's what John and we discuss on a daily basis of the depth. And the depth goes all the way to our practice squad. You know, having those guys and having those guys practice. But what combines it is our coaches having the ability to develop the players, spend the extra time with them, staying out on the field with them, you know, getting them extra reps. We did something this year in training camp, and I think it was a little taxing, but it was very good. But John split up the practices, and he had the young guys on one field and the veteran guys on the other field. And you know what, so therefore we didn't have to stay out there for 3 hours. But we had guys getting reps, and those reps I think paid dividends for us, because I don't know how many reps Shockey Brown took during that time, but if we'd have just had a conventional practice, he wouldn't have got as many. So I think I realized and John realized the importance of depth, but John and his coaches and our staff, my personnel staff, we realized that the development of players is an ultimate thing that we have to do. Coach?
Yeah, I concur. Yeah, it's the thing that we have here that's probably, I think it's pretty unique around the National Football League. And this is something, you know, Steve doesn't take much credit for anything, but what he has laid is an organizational structure where everybody works together, you know, and there really aren't clear lines of demarcation between people. Scouts and coaches work together. You know, front office and coaches and scouts work together. Everybody's involved with one another, and it's not like we all are responsible for our areas, but we all seek help. You know, I can walk into Vince Newsome's office at any time and just ask him what he thinks and how we're, you know, bringing along a player or something along those lines, and that's just huge for us. You know, I know that all the scouts feel the same way. Ozzie and I do it all the time, but it's not just us two. It's not just Steve and Dick and Kevin. It's everybody throughout the whole organization. It's just interwoven together, and to me, that's the key to any success that we have.
Kevin Coward.
Steve, could you talk about the coaching job that John did this year, especially in terms of all the challenges that the team had to overcome?
Well, it goes back to all the coaches. I mean, you know, we did have a lot of injuries, but they were marquee players, and we got Ray and Suggs back, you know, quicker than we thought. If, you know, we didn't know we'd get him back at all. Masterful job, but I think that it's not a you know, mosaic really. It's just every day he comes in and he talks with Ozzie and they make the right decisions, and it goes back to having those young players capable of stepping up. And what I commend John for is that he spends a lot of time one-on-one with these guys. So the 52nd guy on the roster is just as likely to be in a one-on-one meeting with John as Ray Lewis is. So, you know, from an organizational standpoint, John understands that those guys on the bottom 15, if you will, could be in at any given moment. And so he spends an inordinate amount of time with the guys, the second half of the roster, so that he understands them. He has a real one-on-one relationship with them, and when it comes time to put them in, he knows what their strengths and weaknesses are. You can't run a business by talking in front of a group, and John spends the majority of his time in one-on-one meetings, and I think it's the right way to run a business.